Welcome to Macro Golf 10-minute mobility. This is a session working on the lower body. Now, it's very generic towards the lower body, and it's going to be a session that's ideal if you've been doing a lot of training recently or a lot of practice and you're feeling just generally quite tight in the lower body. It's just going to get the body moving back to its normal function. Nothing progressive, nothing extreme, just something to get you back to your normal level, ready for your activity for today. First of all, well done for getting your 10 minutes in today. Well done for finding time in your day for that habit. And you're not going to need any equipment for today's exercise, apart from maybe a golf club. So we're going to start the session today on our backs, and we're going to gradually move our way up into a kneeling position, gradually progressing up, ready to start your day. So we're going to start on our backs, as we said. And from this position, we're just going to take one foot, so I'm going to start on my left foot, and I'll cross it over my right foot. Tuck my right foot up, and I'm going to push that left knee away from me, just to feel a little bit of a stretch coming into the glute. I'm going to find my breathing in this position, breathing nice and deep into my stomach. And I'm going to cross this foot all the way over onto the right hand side. Again, breathing into this left side and easing that left knee away from me. Breathing nice and deep into the stomach. I'm going to bring that foot back. Now I'm going to tuck the right foot under. And I'm going to still push that left knee away from me, but now I'm just going to raise my right hip by pushing my right heel into the mat. So nice and stable with the upper body, pushing the left knee away. Now I'm going to drive through the right heel. Now we're just going to start to get the right hip moving as well, but we're keeping a stretch in that left hand glute. And one more. You can take the left leg back down, swap sides to the right leg, so right foot comes over left knee, tuck the left foot up, push the right knee away from you. A few deep breaths here. And now we're going to drop the right foot over to the left hand side. Again, pushing that right knee this time out and away. Breathing nice and deep into the stomach. So you bring that back up to the middle. And now we're going to tuck the left foot up and repeat on this side. So pushing through the left heel, we're going to raise the hips. Drop back down to the start, keep pushing that right knee away from you. Two more here. And the last one. You can come all the way back down to the start position, and you're going to roll all the way around onto your front into all fours. And all the way back round onto your fours. Now we do this quite often in these sessions. We start on our backs and gradually progress up. And it also helps with your kind of mental state of mind that you're starting in that position and you're gradually finishing in a standing position, letting you know the session is done. So it's really important that we follow that. Now from all fours, we just work a little bit on the hips. So what you need to do is take your knees nice and close together in this all fours position. Nice stable base with the fingers, but knees closer together than the hips. Now with your feet touching behind you here, we're now going to move the heels out, almost aiming to outside of our mat. So you get some rotation coming into the hip, but the knees and hips are going to remain facing forwards. So the knees remain exactly where they are, and we're just going to lift the toes out, touch the ground outside of us. With my knees kind of a few inches apart, I should be able to touch my toes outside of the mat. Touch it back in and touch it out. If you are tight in the hips, this is going to be a real struggle. Do a few more repetitions here. 2 more. Really looking for that rotation from the hip. Now I'm going to swap, take my knees nice and wide. I'm going to start with my feet kind of in line with my knees. And now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to bring my feet together to touch in the middle of the mat. Start nice and wide, come in to touch in the middle. Just going to get my hips moving in both directions. It's going to feel a little bit strange if you're not used to doing this movement. Two more here. And take a rest there. Now we're going to come all the way up onto our knees. And now if you have got a golf club to hand, then it would be great if you have got one and you can use this for this session. If you don't, you can do it without a golf club, it's not a problem at all. So what you're going to do is you're going to come into a lunge position. So I'm going to bring my left foot forward towards the golf club. Now from here, I'm going to get a nice kind of low lunge position. So I'm getting a stretch into my right hip flexor. I'm sitting up nice and straight and stacking onto this left leg. So I've got a right angle at my ankle, at my knee, and at my hip. Now I'm sitting nice and straight. I've got the club here as a reference point, but I'm not leaning down on the club. And from here, I'm just going to rock forward and exaggerate that stretch in the right hip flexor. So I'm really squeezing my right glute, sitting up nice and upright, sinking the hips forward and down. So from there, I'm going to rock all the way back. Come onto my heel, drop onto my right bum cheek and lift my toe to get a stretch in the left hamstring. So all the club's doing from here is a reference point for you rocking forwards and back, because you don't want to be rocking from side to side. You should be able to stay in a pretty straight line. So forward, right hip flexor stretch, and we come back into our left hamstring stretch. Back for the hip flexor. Back for the hamstring. We're just going to rock between these two positions. Every repetition you do, you can probably stretch it a little bit further. Don't you find it easy to drop that right heel down from the mat? We'll do 2 more here. And we're going to swap sides. Club can stay in the middle of the mat. This time my right foot comes forward. Get a stretch onto the left hip flexor. And we do the exact same. So keep the club nice and straight. Low lunge, feel the stretch in the left hip flexor. Squeeze the left glute. Drop the hips low. And then come all the way back and stretch the right hamstring. And just rock between these positions in your own timing. If you want to spend a little bit more on one stretch, it's absolutely fine. Just keep rocking between the two. I'm going to do 2 more. And last one. And I'm done. So I'll put my clock down and I'll take my rest. Guys, well done for getting your 10 minutes in today. Hopefully your lower body, when you stand up and get on with your day today, will feel a little bit looser than it did when you started. The idea of these sessions is just get the blood flowing into those muscles a little bit, just kind of loosen off any of that tightness that's happened over the last couple of days of training and get you ready to move back in the correct way for the sessions going ahead. So it's not necessarily working deeply on your mobility moving forward, but it's kind of just restoring that on a short-term basis. So I hope you enjoyed that session. I hope you found that useful for you for today. Well done for getting your 10 minutes in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.